My great uncle, they thought that the trailer was the car. They said, well, how do you see to race that thing, Robert? I said, no, that's just the trailer. That's not the car.
The car is inside the vintage Mr. Ed trailer that has become, well, sort of the barn for the barn find inside. That hadn't been out since 1977. This is a famous car that's been lost for almost 50 years, and it's coming out today.
I wish you guys would have come by in January when it was a little cooler.
I think this is a major find, right? Like,
yeah, this is definitely one off.
There's only one of these, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Where do you meet Bob? Driving south out of El Paso. Beyond those mountains is Mexico. Headed to Fabens, Texas.
A lot of people have been looking for it for years.
Michael Lightborn, famous old car hunter. You know, he found Orbitron on the streets of Mexico. Chalk up another big find for him. He's been trying to buy this car for 20 years.
When I first met Bob and I came over, he goes, let me go show it to you. So then he had to chop all of this out, and the trailer was sitting under this bush.
Bob's waiting for us, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Man, his farm looks kind of like a salvage yard.
March 2013, trying to make a deal. December of 2018, another visit to Bob's farm.
Can I back up my truck here, hitch up, and we can go ahead and take it right now?
Bob and Michael have become good friends over the last 20 years. That whole time, Michael's been trying to buy Moonburst.
He's been nice, been after it. It's just persistent, you know.
Got a bunch of old pickups.
June of 2020, Michael's teenage sons both have muscle cars. Tony on the left, Matthew on the right. Not even born when Michael first tried to buy this car.
Bob, what do you say?
Good. Oh, you got help. Good.
Yeah, I got my two boys.
Okay.
Is today the day a deal gets done?
I hear the junkyard dog over there.
Moonburst has been brought to public attention through an inquiry on Facebook, asking whatever happened to Moonburst.
Oh yeah, I see it sticking out of the corner there. The car's down there.
Had to round up some tires. It doesn't have tires and rims on the front axle and everything else. So
Bob's daughter-in-law answers the Facebook question. Outsiders learn what's inside. Moonburst. A double-A fuel dragster from the golden era of drag racing. Featured in the July 1971 issue of Hot Rod magazine. Nitromethane burning double-A dragsters. Be there. No cars more dangerous than these front-engine dragsters. They've become popular at cackle fests. And Bob's received a substantial offer. So, how much was that? But first,
What'd you pay for it?
I paid $1,200 for the car.
Dig a little deeper.
43 years.
So when did you buy it? Give me the year.
Probably 73, 74.
Bob lived in Ohio and found the car in an ad in a Cincinnati newspaper.
Brought it home and all, just like everything else. I didn't even know anything about it. And he says, oh, that, by the way, that was featured in some magazine or whatever. Yeah. And the trailer wasn't included. It took me about 5, 6, 7 years, I guess, to actually buy the trailer.
What did the trailer cost?
I think I paid $1,300 or $1,500 for the trailer.
So this thing hadn't been out of the trailer since when?
The 70s.
Really?
Yeah.
Bob almost converted Moonburst to a rear-engine dragster. Instead, he moved to Texas. And he pulled Moonburst in that trailer with a 66 GTO tri-power.
Kind of about time it came out, though, isn't it, Bob?
Well, yeah, it needs to get out and see the sunlight.
We took a little time out to go see the GTO.
So how many cars you got on the farm here?
Probably 30.
Who knows what else we'll find.
Okay, Jerry, go ahead and walk over there. The GTO, he pulled it with all the way from Ohio.
Okay.
Gotta go.
What's a good farm without a goat or two around?
Hello.
A group of goats is called a trip. What's a group of cars called? Answer coming up. And what's GOAT stand for when you're talking about GTOs? Greatest of all time. Bob's GTO turns out to be the 66 389 tri-power. some people think is the GOAT. Wow. You know what that is? A vintage Mr. Ed drag trailer, like we just saw. Somebody will know this name, Dick Gallagher, right? These trailers are highly sought after. Notice how that body is shaped like a dragster. Very cool. Looks like a 56 Cadillac. And, yep, a four-door. Got 76 or 77 Grand Prix. Wrecked too bad to mess with that hood. We just wanted to kind of run through some of these old cars and see if we could find another gem. Here's an old sprint car, so Bob's into more than drag racing. I asked Bob if there's any snakes out here.
I may have snakes here, but there's no rattlesnakes here. That's the important thing.
Okay, I feel a lot better.
Oh, there's the Ranchero.
It's a 57 model with a 58 door. So we got cooled off from the 105 degrees looking at that fleet of cars. Get it? So let's go back and pull Moonburst out of that trailer. Next question. Does that old Ford have enough power to pull this thing out? Oh, and is he going to clear that old Dodge? Can't wait to see the car, but what else did he put inside over 40 years ago?
Like I said, I got a bunch of early model heads in here and blocks, and you'll be surprised what comes out of this trailer.
So, time to drop that tailgate and look inside.
Whoa. So what all we got in here? Looks like a
Battery charger, blowers, motorcycle engines, 392 block,
Long lost AA fuel dragster Moonburst.
slicks, interliners.
Can't see the body yet, except
It's part of the belly pan right there.
This is the underbody piece. Original Dean Moon goldenrod yellow.
Is that the original 392 block?
They had a lot of them. This is just one that's it's a good block. Hemi spark plug tube.
oh wait, this could be important.
What's in there, Bob?
Old cups and saucers for my great aunt. This is the scatter shield and block plate that goes on the chassis.
And the clutch can to drive the rear axle.
That Jack McKay, he was the owner. Jack McKay and Clayton Harris is the driver, but that was his sticker right there.
Dragster headers.
Big tube front engine dragster headers, and these are a set of smaller rear engine dragster headers. This is a part that goes right here.
Between the driver and the motor.
And you know, they're little, the Zeus fasteners are a little worn from wear, but I don't even think you'd have to mess with that.
That's a magnesium hollow brand, right?
Yes, sir.
One of these wheels probably worth as much as Bob paid for the whole car.
That is a $2,500 set of wheels, right?
Yep.
How many wheels does he have?
I've got a few in there. You can't go racing with just one set. Here I thought I lost the steering wheel to it, but here it is.
It's Rockford. And then here he'd have his kill switch.
Plug wheels to a modern dragster. These are parts to an old sprint car of mine, super modified.
43 years of West Texas dust.
392 heads. I got, I don't know how many sets of them in here.
There were 4 on this side.
331 blower pistons. They're used.
Michael, what are you thinking?
This is pretty neat.
More Hemi heads.
Here's one of the axles out of the car.
Believe it or not, this is a non-floater car. You break an axle and you're into the wall.
Now, is that the original blower on top there, that Thompson?
No.
No?
No, when they bought the car, they bought it without a motor in it. When Hilton bought the car from them,
Meaning from original owner Jack McKay.
and the funny car and all that, they bought it without a motor because they actually put the motor out of this right in their rear engine car.
ET wheel.
Bob said we'd be surprised.
Here are the side panels for the car. All these are extra pieces that go on there. On this one.
Put the steering wheel on it, and the car's ready to come out. The steering is hooked up. This is supposed to have a little bracket here, but this way they can steer it if they need to. This just goes on there with a spline. See, it's already, see, I'm turning it right there. Just gotta pick it up
Okay.
and maybe pull it back a little. A little more. Let's pull it down a little more, and I'll take that transmission out of there before we get. Do Do what?
What'd you find there?
Oh, just a Muncie 220.
Bob pointed out the SEMA stamp, verifying this is a Woody Gilmore chassis. And then
You want to get in there? You ever been in front and Dragster? Sit in there.
the driver's weight provided traction sitting over that rear axle like that.
Your legs go over top of there.
Like over here?
If you think you're uncomfortable now, wait 6.6 seconds when you achieve 227 miles an hour and your parachute pops open.
Wow, they would actually sit like that?
That's it.
Oh, God, could you imagine?
Oh, I could imagine, yeah, in my wildest
Hey,
dreams.
you'd get in it?
Well, sure, in a second. Why wouldn't you? This is what the good Lord intended you to be in. Top fuel dragster. Get this up here, and your brakes on here, and away you go. It's just sort of a shame that they stripped the body, the paint off of, but Don Jones, he was going to race the car.
Instead, Don sold it to Bob.
I was a heel arc welder, and I was going to convert the car to a rear engine dragster.
But how much work would that be? Especially with a new design.
When did you buy it?
73.
Rear engine design was replacing front engine design. So, that aluminum body made by master craftsman Tom Hanna is cherry, except for this dent in the nose.
When they were done with the car, when they took the motor out, they pushed it into the wall. 17-inch tires, especially for dragsters. It has a Volkswagen torsion bar in here. That's what everybody used to use.
Bob had stored the seat pod and even the upholstery and this body panel in his house.
Oh, what about the parachute?
I've got them in with my sprint car cushions and stuff. I think there should be in there.
These are the originals?
Yeah.
What about value? What do you think it's worth? What have you been offered for it, or what do you think it's worth?
With all the parts and stuff, I think I've been offered $90,000 for it. Maybe that's too much. Maybe I should have taken it and run, but.
Did you ever think about you might let Michael buy it?
Well, if it goes for sale, he'll be the first one to have dibs on it.
Bob didn't want to let go, but a deal was about to be made.
First, it started as, stopping by wanting to buy it. Then talking to him more and more, I realized it's like part of his family, and if anybody should know that, would be Jerry Heasley. The cars do, you get a personal attachment to them, and it is really hard to sell a lot of them.
When I was a kid, I grew up at the drag strip. I had gassers and Aldards and dragsters. And if you've ever been around a top fuel car at night, you can't breathe, you can't see. There's nothing like it.
My idea is let's get rid of a bunch of his junk, bunch of it, not junk, bunch of the treasures, and get the car redone. And that way you can keep it.
All it has to be is the nose has to be beat out a little and primer it and paint it, and it's good to go.
I think it's harder to restore the trailer than it is to restore the car. That we could just go over and see what you want to get rid of. What's not on the bucket list. The other Mr. Ed trailer.
Well, that wouldn't be as hard to part with. It needs a lot of work.
But you would sell that?
Yeah.
You'd never want to get rid of your GTO, huh?
No.
No? Is that on the bucket list?
Yeah, you know me. I know what I've got there. It's just a matter of getting it done.
Dragging Moonburst back inside, I got to thinking, no, not another 43 years, or I might just start drinking.
And then I asked him if he wanted to sell it in 20 years later. No. Right?
Well, yeah.
The rest was history. I became a stalker after that, trying to buy it.
Once you sell it, you're going to have a soft spot in your heart forever.
Yeah, you could do the motor, huh?
Yeah, no, the motors are not. You just get a good fiberglass guy to fix the cracks where the doors are and the tailgate's coming apart.
Look at the 280Z right there. And then the 320 BMW, those are actually getting desirable now.
Station wagons, 4 doors, nobody wanted them. Now they sort of
Yeah.
So we could go out here and find station wagons, old station wagons.
Well, you could-
We can find anything you want.
I bought it in high school. My father said that I could work all summer on a farm and I could buy anything I wanted. All right, so I had $800. So I had a C Dragster I wanted. No, you can't have a C Dragster. All right, so then I found an A-gas Anglia. No, you can't have an A-gas Anglia. So he let me buy the 66 Trap Hire GTO.
And it's a 4-speed car too, huh?
Yeah, it is. Factory.
But his passion, his love is the drag cars. But we could sell a few of his cars.